think this is Shai's MVP to lose? I mean, we got, about 4 games left. OKC obviously just lost, so they put him at 64-14. Still got a game ahead of the Cavs, but it's looking like if things pan out, they're going to have not only the number one seed in the West, but also in the overall NBA as well too. Yep. And Shai's averaging 33, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting over 50% from the field. I think Vegas still has him at a pretty favorable odd to win it. But do you think, these next couple games, there could be, other supporters kind of swaying and going away from him to Jokic for MVP?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess, yeah. I would say though, in my opinion, it's still the same with voter fatigue for me. So I'd like to see Shai win it, especially when it is coming down to whether or not, like I've seen it be so much about like the best player on the best team or the overall record, be the one to win it. So I'm okay with that being the story from this year, or being at least like the result of trying to choose between 2 results.
Yeah. I think after this year, because honestly, it's been so narrative based this past couple of years, so. And I think this may be the year that they're going to kind of go back to. They're going to consider your stats with their overall team success. So I hope that is the situation as well too. But it's so hard to take away from what Joker's been doing. Like,
thing is like, I think all 3 of us would agree that he's likely to do the same thing next year. Like, this would be like,
who's Shai or Joker?
Joker.
Oh, I
feel like he could just do the same type of output next year type shit. So it just would always look MVP level, which is totally fine. That's no shade to the player at all. But I feel like ultimately that's where voter fatigue sets in. Yeah. When you see it so much.
Yeah. What about you?
Where else do you feel like it's been narrative driven outside of Embiid recently?
Russell Westbrook triple double situation. I feel like they were the fucking 6th seed. I mean, it hasn't been done before. Years ago, though. I mean, yeah, but I mean, you had that one, and then who else was the narrative one? Joel Embiid. Who else had it as well too?
I feel like it was just I those 2, but those were so far apart that like I feel like it hasn't really, because Jokic just won a bunch of them recently, and those weren't really narrative based at all. It's because he was going crazy. Yeah. Same when Giannis was going crazy; those weren't narrative based. So I don't know. I feel like it is actually more a little bit narrative based this year, because to me, Jokic is really going crazy. But Shai has enough. Shai has a good enough stats, and his team is good enough that because Jokic has already won. I feel like there's so many other things that don't always affect the MVP race this year. Yeah. Like if this was a neutral. Like, Jokic hadn't won any before, I feel like he's going to win.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's not even really just fully off of merit for Shai this year. But he is having an MVP caliber season, so I'm not
Do you think also they feel like they should have gave it to him last year, so that's another factor?
No, absolutely not.
I've always felt...
Jokic had... I'm real quick, but they had the 2nd seed or something like that last year. And I'm sure his stats were still better than
because Shai basically got the same stats, and they were the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, and... their team wasn't a veteran-based team as well. So they pretty much overachieved, because the year before that, the motherfuckers was the 8th seed. That's kind of crazy. What were you about to say?
No, I was just gonna say, like, it is conflicting for me, because I'm always a proponent of, or I'm always a voter of, what does that player look like when you take them off the off the court or off the lineup, and I feel like Jokic has that over Shai in the sense that his team is obviously better.
He's so goddamn available. It's hard to really judge that. I mean, you can argue that for both teams as well. I know when he did miss those couple games, because he was on my fantasy, I think they won majority of those games. I think it was only like 3 or 4 games he missed as well. So they look like off the veteran play alone, like if they're fully healthy, they can string along games. And I just feel like with Shai, he's so dominant with the ball, like how James Harden with how Luka was over some time. I think OKC would still, I think they would drop to a play-in team. I think that's how.
I feel like the Nuggets are way worse supporting cast than OKC.
You think their system? You think the Nuggets would win less games than OKC?
100% without Jokic.
I think the Nuggets can still win with MPJ, because Aaron Gordon used to be an all-star caliber player. He's just taking a back seat.
Averaging 17 a game. That's his. He's not.
Aaron Gordon.
Aaron Gordon was never as like. That's why he got traded and became the fourth best player on this team. Like, you're not a guy that you're ever going to build anything around. I don't know. I feel like seeing them without him even on the court, like in games, they don't really be doing nothing unless Jamal Murray is having a great game. But those feel so few and far in between. And Michael Porter Jr. If Michael Porter Jr. was any type of consistent, then I would agree. Yeah. But he's just not. Like when he does hit shots again, like, okay, that's great. But I just feel like I can count on so many of they're just so much deeper. And to me, that's proven, like when you look at these benches, and that's where also I think maybe if you're talking about the starting lineups, maybe I would give you that Denver's is better without Denver's without Jokic is better than OKC's without Shai, maybe. But when you get to the bench, I feel like it's not even close. Like they have to put Strother, DeAndre Jordan is playing minutes for them out there. Peyton Watson he can't score at all. He's only defense. Versus you have they have Caruso coming off the bench. Aaron Wiggins, I can't. All their players off the bench can shoot and hit threes and do a bunch of different stuff. Or I feel like the Nuggets is just not that. So I don't know.
I just wonder who am I looking at to essentially like just run that offense and get everyone in their sets. I mean, J-Dub is capable of doing it, but like I always said earlier, do you kind of trust him to be consistent? Chet really doesn't get his buckets and ISO, so it would be interesting. I mean, it'll definitely be adjustment period, but I don't know, man. It's really just tough to gauge because, like I said, both of those players are so goddamn durable. But I can definitely see where you're coming from as well. So, but yeah, I still got Shai. My opinion hasn't changed yet. I'm assuming you still got Shai.
Yeah. And
then you still got Jokic.
I mean, who I think should win. At this point, I think it's clear that Shai's going to win, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not even because of all the things we were talking about.
Yeah.
Again, he just won 3 MVPs in like 4-ish years, so it's close enough that I think it just makes sense they're going to give it to someone else.
Yeah. That's gonna be interesting. So they reported. I mean, obviously, he just okay.
Before we skip though, it's like imagine how much they really had to have loved Michael, bro, to get that nigga 6, and now nobody get more than 3.
Yeah, because how much Brown got 4?
Yeah, well, yeah, he had 4. Yeah,
and that's basically. And Steph got 2.
Yeah,
so he had the unanimous one, and then the 15-16, right?
Yeah,
and then Giannis got 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, like
who else and then Joker got 3, and then Ben B got 1. It's just crazy. Like we as far as like our tier 1 base players, like everyone plays at such a fucking high level. Like you can argue a case for other players, but yeah, it's just tough.
I think it's also it goes to show how much more level the league is now versus like Jordan when he was playing. I can look it up, but I don't think it was probably anyone else really averaging 30 points a game outside of him. You got like 6 players averaging over 30. So like it's you're gonna have more parity now versus like it was so much easier for someone to stand out. I feel like
that's fair.
And probably because media is kind of it's night and day from when he played versus now too. So who knows if he would have had that many MVPs?
Just the amount of players or the tier 1 players that I feel like won't probably ever win, MVPs. Obviously, I don't really got much love lost for Jason Tatum, but like him, or if Ant kind of never gets his spotlight, or not even spotlight, but just like continues to grow. I'm like, damn, like these are some really great players that'll never really get that true top tier, recognition.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting for sure.